This is Jon Gnagy, and I'm here to prove to you that you can draw and paint your way to fame by learning the professional secrets of America's 12 most famous artists. Right now, will you do this? Pick up a pencil and a piece of paper, any old piece of paper, and draw with me. Come on, give it a try, because I'm interested in every mark you put on paper. If you send me your sketch, good or bad, I'll send you a drawing lesson in return that won't cost you a cent. In addition, I'll give you a print of a famous painting absolutely free. Let's start as simply as this. By drawing a curved line across the bottom of our page, put that in with a nice freehand motion. There's still time to get that pencil and paper. Get yourself a ruler, too, or use the edge of a book. Say, did you know that you could draw anything and everything by using just 4 simple basic forms: the ball, cube, cylinder, and cone? For example, this curved line is like the top of a large ball form. Now let's place a cube form here. We'll start that by drawing a square a little bit to the right of center. But don't make it quite square. Make it slant a little bit like this. Now we'll turn that into a cube by adding another side to it. Make this line slant down more steeply than this one. Make this line shorter than either of these other two. And now, just as simply as a child would stack blocks on top of each other, let's make a tall cube sort of overlap this first one. You know, the reason that these are cubes is because they have third dimension. They have height, width, and depth. Now let's put a little perspective in this cube by slanting the side in. Start this line, make these lines twice as high as that one over there. Now, in order to make this one set in on top of that flat cube, stop this line right here, and then put in the top edges like this. To really make it stand over the edge, draw another line here, and we'll erase these 2 little short lines. Just erase this one and the other part here. You know, I told you you could draw anything by using 4 basic forms. Let's stack another building block on top of these. This time we'll use a cylinder. Make the edges of the cylinder taper also. Curve the top edge like this. You see, that needs perspective too. Let's put another one on top of that. And curve this top edge also. Now that final basic form, the cone. Let's place a long, slender cone right on top of everything here. Make those lines slant down like that. Now our next job is to make these look more solid. We'll do that with light and shade. If we have light coming in from the right-hand side, the left sides of these forms would be shaded like this. And of course, on a rounded form like cylinders and cones, you want to soften the tone as it wraps around that rounded surface like that. Yes, then you can darken the edge still more and blend in like this. Of course, on the cube forms, you get a sharp division between the light and shade because they have square edges instead of rounded edges. See how much more solid those become now that we've put the tone and shading on those surfaces? Also, let's accent the edges here to give a little more contrast at the light edge. Did it ever occur to you that shading is merely the absence of light? You bet that's what it is. Oh yes, let's shade the left edge of this ball form where it turns away from the light. Have you often wondered what makes one painting almost valueless and others worth thousands of dollars? There are very definite reasons for this, and I'm going to show you now one of the secrets: tone movement. Let's see just what we mean by tone movement. Let's cover our sky with a light gray tone. Try to make it all solid gray by placing your pencil on its side and working your strokes back and forth to lay as even a tone as you can. This is something you can experiment with after the program is over. So now, if you wish, just watch and write down a few notes too. The first thing to write down is the word tone. T-O-N-E. Now here we have an almost even tone over all this background of sky. Tone, you know, is the general color of a surface. At present, though, this sky is monotonous because it is too much the same all over. But how would you give it tone movement? Next, write down the word movement after the word tone. You'll need a good eraser in order to carry out the next step in creating tone movement, so get one after the program is over. First, I'll erase several areas in this flat tone in order to give it more interest. Rhythmic sweeps of light. These help the eye travel in interesting paths throughout the toned area. Leave the edges and corners dark in order to keep the eye from wandering off the page. See how it seems to surround the center of interest and returns the eye to the most important part of the picture. Now here is another one of the secrets of the great masters of painting, the lost and found edges of forms. Notice how I've made the sky light against some dark edges and left it dark against light edges. This dark and light effect helps create a more sympathetic expression to forms that would otherwise remain hard and severe. When the edges of forms are lost and found in the tone background, the artist gives the picture atmosphere by softening the hard lines of stone, wood, and steel. This method was the secret of the great master Greco, the Spanish painter who was known for the spiritual qualities he put into great religious paintings of the past. But today, even the beginner can create mood and drama in his pictures by knowing the secrets discovered by the famous painters. We have started a picture here of a church, but before adding the more common touches of windows and cornices, it's important to capture the spirit of the picture by veiling it in mystery and by imbuing it with a dignity appropriate to the subject. As you can see, we've begun to do this by using tone movement, those two words that you wrote down just a minute ago. Say, did I go too fast for you? Yes, I know. I've received thousands of letters from people saying so. But now here's a suggestion. Put down what you can during the program, then finish afterwards. Better yet, do a whole new drawing at your leisure. You'll be surprised at how well it'll turn out. Remember, I want your drawing, whether you think it's good or whether you think it's bad. Send it to me, and I'm going to do something for you. Today and today only, I'm going to give you this step-by-step method by which we created this very same drawing. So be sure you send me your sketch. There is no other obligation. Just take a look at the drawings I've prepared for you, step by step, exactly as we've been doing it up to this point. When you receive it, you will be able to take your time and draw this picture as finished as you like. Your original sketch will be returned to you. There's very little time to lose in getting in on this nationwide talent hunt conducted by America's 12 most famous artists. So put down something, even though you say you can't draw a straight line. If you've not begun this sketch yet, there's still time to start now and finish it from memory after the program is over. So start now. In addition to the step-by-step method that you get for sending me your drawing, I'm going to give you this beautiful print absolutely free. All you have to do to get this valuable lesson is to send it to me in care of this station. Write your name, your age, and address on the back of your drawing and send it to Jon Gnagy, care of this station. Now back to our drawing, where we've been creating mood in our picture by using tone movement. The next word you want to put down is rhythm. What do you suppose rhythm means in a picture? Well, here's what it means in a picture like this. Using your fingertip or a piece of cleansing tissue bunched up, we'll weave these areas of tone together so that the flowing movements make unity and a oneness out of these light and dark patches. Go back and forth over the surface with a rhythmic movement until you have achieved a fascinating lost and found effect. Soften the edges until the sky has a feeling of mystery veiled in moving lights and shadows. Bring the tone in against light edges here and there. It's as simple as doodling. Erase the tone against the dark edges of the forms, that is, on the shadow side. See the flowing rhythmic effect it gives? It gives your picture more harmony, too. But now let's go on. Now let's put in the slanted roof up against this tall cube like this, and darken the roof. Now let's put in a tall slanted shadow down here, because our light's coming in from the upper right. Put some gray tone on this foreground, cast a shadow across it, and put in some boulders. Yes, let's put in the cast shadow across the end of the church here too, and a big, tall, dark tree to help frame the picture. Get a textured edge to it to suggest foliage. Here again, make a lost and found edge to soften it. Now we're ready for the windows and the trimmings. Put in some tall windows in the belfry tower up here. And put in a dark roof edge on each cylinder form, like this. Yes, let's also put in a little bit of a roof here on this tower and a railing. Suggest a window, an arched foyer, another window, and a large dark door here. A couple of windows here, and a tier of windows above and a tier below. A mountain back in the distance, and our picture is finished. So let's put on the frame. Oh yes, let's put in this sloping roof and a touch of ivy. And I want to tell you something about this picture. You have followed the step-by-step creation of a painting by one of America's most famous artists, Mr. Ben Stahl. Here is the original painting, which I borrowed from its owner, a well-known national advertiser in Boston. This picture was reproduced in most of our national magazines, where millions of you folks enjoyed its beautiful art qualities. Well, how does your picture compare to the original? You're not satisfied? Take another look at it, and I'll bet you'll agree that it's one of the best quick sketches you've ever made in your life.